There's a strange feeling that comes with looking at your trophy list and seeing a game stuck at 40%. It's like leaving a conversation mid-sentence or walking away from a masterpiece before the paint is dry. You've lived through the story, you've fought the bosses, or you might have seen the credits roll, but that final pop is still missing. I've been playing games before starting going for platinum trophies, and my PlayStation library has started to feel like a collection of unfinished business. Games started, loved, and then set aside for the next big release or for some old nostalgia. But some of these games, they just stay with you. They keep calling you back until you give them the closure they deserve. As such, today I'm going back to do exactly that. We're starting in the haunting, grief-stricken wilderness of Banishers Ghosts of New Eden, a game that generally does not receive the love and spotlight it deserves. It's a game about heavy choices and lingering spirits, and it felt wrong to leave those last few haunting cases unresolved. Then we're shifting gears to the cold, cinematic streets of Victorian London in The Order 1886, a game that, despite its age, still looks better than most game or movie titles coming out today. This isn't a fresh start or a full walkthrough. As for Banishers, I had 20 trophies gained before I started filming, and for The Order, I had 6 and the story finished as well. This is a cleanup mission. It's about hunting down the hidden echoes I missed, finding those final collectibles tucked away in dark corners, and mastering the combat challenges I skipped the first time around. There's a unique kind of peace that comes with finally seeing 100% complete on a game you respect and return to. So some cleanups might come in some videos for the future as well. So let's head back into the fog, finish what we started, and grab these 2 platinums. Returning to New Eden felt like stepping back into a cold, familiar dream. I had already put a significant amount of time into this journey, sitting at 20 trophies unlocked. But the path to the platinum required me to dive back into the mechanics and the world one last time to finish the job. The first major task on my list was the Bring It On trophy. This isn't just about raw power, it's about total commitment to your gear. To unlock this, you need to have 8 different items, one for every slot, upgraded to rank 7, Relic, and equipped all at the same time. Upgrading becomes available after the Ends of the Earth quest, but reaching rank 7 is where the real grind lies. While the early levels only require common materials like leather or plants, the final tiers demand rare resources like nest silts, void splinters, and elite gems. My advice? Pick a specific build you love and stick with it. Don't spread your resources thin across multiple weapons or amulets. I spent a good chunk of my time at the shelter campfires, carefully managing my inventory to ensure every piece reached that gold tier status. Seeing that full set of relic gear equipped for the first time didn't just feel like progress. It felt like Red and Antea were finally ready for whatever the fog had left to throw at them. With my gear finally reaching its peak, I turned my attention toward the Banishing Move trophy. This one is all about mastering Red's signature finisher. Although you unlock the ability early on during the Landfall quest, it's a move you really have to prioritize to hit the required 50 kills. It essentially acts as a powerful exorcism, but to ensure it counted as a defeat, I had to be careful not to trigger it too early. My strategy was simple: chip a bit away at a Spectre's health before unleashing the banishment to guarantee the kill. To speed things up, I respect my skills to focus on filling the banish gauge faster. This allowed me to perform the ritual multiple times in a single skirmish rather than waiting for it to charge naturally. Seeing that 50th enemy dissolve into ash felt like a fitting end to Red's combat progression as a professional banisher. Exploration is a highlight of Banishers, but the Gimme Shelter trophy tested my navigation. To earn it, you must light all 30 bonfires across the 4 main regions and the Void as well. While shelters are essential for resting, many are tucked away in remote corners, easily overlooked during a standard playthrough. During this final sweep, I had to be incredibly thorough, especially since the shelter within the Void is actually missable. I spent hours trekking through the dense dark woods and the frozen heights of Mount Pleasant, scanning for that familiar smoke and red cloth. There's a certain peace in lighting that final fire, turning the map from a dangerous unknown into a fully connected network of sanctuaries. Activating that 30th shelter finally gave me a true sense of closure and mastery over the map. The Soulmates trophy really forces you to engage with the tactical depth of the combat system. To unlock it, you need to defeat 50 enemies while Fusion is active. Fusion is the ultimate state where Antea wields Red's sword to deal massive damage, but because it's a resource-heavy move, it's easy to neglect if you're just rushing the main story. During this cleanup, I had to be much more strategic. I focused on building the gauge by dealing damage as Antea, then unleashed the state when surrounded by weakened specters. Since light attacks deplete the gauge, I'd chip away at health health bars beforehand to ensure every swing was a finishing blow. It's a visually stunning mode that makes your attacks feel truly heavy. Reaching that 50th kill felt like the perfect tribute to the unbreakable bond that carries this entire story. In a game focused on the boundary between life and death, the Good Hunter trophy feels like a natural extension of a Banisher's duty. To earn it, you need to find and shoot 50 soul grabbers hidden throughout New Eden. These spectral remnants are often tucked away in trees or hanging from high cliffs, requiring a sharp eye and a steady hand with your rifle to destroy them. With over 128 of them scattered across the map, you don't need to find every single one, but I still made it a point to stay alert during my travels. During this cleanup, I found myself constantly scanning the canopy and rock faces, listening for the distinct hum they emit. Shooting down that 50th soul grabber and collecting the loot was a nice rhythmic break from the heavier combat, adding another layer of completion to my journey through the wild. Next, the Counterattack trophy is a pure test of timing. To earn it, you must defeat 3 enemies with a post-parry attack in a single encounter. This requires a perfect block followed by an immediate light attack to land the killing blow. In a large skirmish, I slowed my pace and waited for specters to lunge. I chipped away at their health first to ensure the counterstrike would be lethal. There's a distinct satisfaction in parrying a blow and instantly turning that momentum back on the ghost. Landing that 3rd kill in a row felt like a display of total control, proving I had finally mastered the rhythmic flow of a Banisher's combat. The heart of Banishers lies in its haunting cases, and for this trophy, I had to solve all 23 of them. Each case is a self-contained story involving the living and the dead, forcing you to act as both detective and judge. While some are part of the main story, many are hidden throughout New Eden, waiting for you to uncover their tragic secrets. Revisiting these cases during my cleanup was an emotional journey. I had to follow every clue to understand the truth before bringing closure. Whether I chose to blame the living or ascend the ghost, each decision carried weight, especially since they directly impact which ending you receive based on your initial oath. Closing the final case felt like I had truly brought peace or justice to every corner of this haunted land.
Phoebe Walcott, I know you wish the best for Ishmael. I know your intentions are good, but by staying, you'll only weaken him or scare him to death. You must go.
I'd rather stay. I promise I'll be quiet. I'm a quick learner.
I'm sure you would be.
You're still here. I'll just do what you're doing.
I'll be gone soon enough.
Leave Ishmael to the rest of his life. He'll take care of himself. He'll have a better future, thanks to you.
Strange that I never thought of it before. It's obvious now. The party is over. I should go.
Glad you're seeing clearly. Farewell. Farewell.
Mr. McCraith, you are a fair man. I will be eternally grateful to you, sir.
For the next one, the Right on Target trophy is a true marksman's challenge. It requires you to defeat 5 enemies using rifle weak spot hits, essentially headshots, within a single encounter. Since you get the rifle during the Beast quest, you have plenty of opportunities. During a dense skirmish, I stayed at range and focused on precision. The green specters are perfect targets since they usually go down in one shot, but for tougher enemies, I made sure to weaken them first to guarantee the headshot was the killing blow. Using the perfectionist skill was a game changer, significantly boosting my weak spot damage. Nailing that 5th headshot in a row felt incredibly rewarding, proving that Red is just as lethal with a rifle as he is with a blade. Moving on to the grind. The A Farmer's Life trophy really tested my endurance. It requires you to complete the exact same endless ritual site 10 times, pushing the encounter to a brutal intensity level 10. These repeatable activities, like void breaches or nests, glow red on the map, signaling that the difficulty will spike with every single run. To survive the escalating waves, I had to pay close attention to the Spectral Malevolence modifier before each ritual, constantly adapting my combat style to fit its rules. Repeating the same arena 10 times was a grueling test of stamina, but surviving that final chaotic intensity 10 run felt like a massive victory. Next on the cleanup list was the Locksmith trophy, which had me scouring every forgotten corner of the map. To unlock this, you need to find and open every locked chest scattered across New Eden. Since these chests contain unique equipment, tackling this was also a crucial step toward completing my gear collection. The catch with these chests is that each one requires its own specific key. Whenever I stumbled across a heavy, locked trunk, I knew the key wasn't far, usually hidden nearby on a fallen traveler or tucked away in an abandoned shelter. This turned the trophy into a series of mini treasure hunts. Piecing together the environmental clues to find that final key and hearing the heavy wooden lid creak open for the last time was incredibly satisfying. Next up was the Raider trophy, which shifted my focus from combat to traversal. To earn this, you have to complete all 4 haunted grounds spread across New Eden. These are essentially environmental puzzle rooms marked on the map, holding valuable equipment chests at the end. Solving these areas requires perfect synergy. I had to use Antea's spectral abilities like Leap and Outburst to manipulate the environment, while switching back to Red to destroy ghost wards and clear physical obstacles. Since there are only 4 of these grounds in total, tracking them down was fairly quick. Cracking that final puzzle in the Harrows and grabbing the loot was a refreshing change of pace from the heavy combat. Moving deeper into the wilderness, I tackled the Cursed Locksmith trophy. This required unlocking all 16 cursed chests scattered across the map. Unlike regular chests, you don't just find a simple key. Instead, you must locate 3 purple glowing wooden figurines hidden nearby and perform a specific unbounding ritual to break the seal. Learning the ritual itself was a mini adventure, requiring you to find a specific hidden document. After that, searching for the figurines turned into a tense scavenger hunt. Sometimes they were lying in the open, but often I had to smash obstacles or decode treasure maps to track them down. Breaking the curse on that final chest felt like lifting a heavy fog off New Eden, rewarding me with some top-tier gear. Next up was the Teacher's Pet trophy, which is one of the trickiest to set up. It requires finding 15 King James Bibles for an activity called Bible Studies. But the real challenge is that it's highly missable. You only get access to this quest if you kept Hugh Batchelor alive during the Saints and Sinners haunting case by choosing to spare him instead of blaming him. Thankfully, my choices aligned, and I was able to grab the quest from the notice board in the Harrows Hamlet. Even though the game only asks you to return 5 Bibles, the Platinum demands that you track down all 15 hidden across the entire map. It turned into a massive scavenger hunt. I had to be careful not to deliver them too early, waiting until I had the complete set in my inventory. Grabbing that 15th Bible and seeing the trophy pop without even turning the quest in felt like a major relief. Next on the list is a quick one, the American Vampyr trophy. This is an awesome Easter egg for fans of the studio's previous work, requiring you to find some old writings from the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole. You can't actually grab this until late in the game during the Love Finds a Way quest. Once you finally locate Seeker's hideout up in the freezing heights of Mount Pleasant, you just need to step inside her hut. Sitting right there on a table is a document titled The Volcods of Roanoke. Inspecting it instantly pops the trophy. It was a cool little nod to Vampyr and a super easy collectible to cross off the list before the finale. Moving on, we have the Ultimate Collector's Challenge. The Catch-em-all trophy had me scouring every inch of the map. To unlock this, you need to collect all 88 pieces of equipment for both Red and Antea. You start the journey with 4 basic items, leaving 84 unique pieces to track down. Finding all this gear requires you to engage with almost every system in the game. I bought out stock from wandering merchants, completed obscure side activities, and hunted down every single locked chest. Checking my inventory and watching those empty slots slowly fill up with high-tier armor and weapons was incredibly satisfying. Collecting that final piece of gear felt like the perfect payoff for all my thorough exploration across New Eden. Next on the agenda was the Prospector trophy, which turns New Eden into a giant scavenger hunt. To earn this, you must solve all 13 treasure maps hidden across the world. You can't just stumble upon the buried caches either. They only become available after you physically find the corresponding map. Because these maps are cross-region, a clue found in the Dark Woods might lead you all the way to the Harrows. Some maps even required piecing together multiple hints before the final dig site was revealed. Tracking down that last cache of upgrade materials felt like the ultimate payoff for my relentless exploration. Shifting gears to character progression, the full Potency trophy requires you to reach the maximum level cap of 25. While you naturally gain a massive amount of experience just by playing through the main story, simply rolling the credits isn't quite enough to max out your stats. To hit that final level, I really had to engage with everything New Eden had to offer. That meant fully resolving every haunting case, returning for all the follow-up activities, and clearing out world events like nests and void breaches. Even those random skirmishes against specters in the woods started to matter. Watching that XP bar finally tick over to level 25 was a huge milestone, giving Red and Antea the absolute raw power needed to face the endgame threats. When it came to the major story encounters, the Nazuku no More trophy marked an intense battle. It unlocks after defeating Kalendre deep within the void. This fight is a grueling 3-stage endurance test where you must destroy the Sorrow and its sprouts to stop her from healing. For the first 2 phases, I ignored her and the extra specters entirely, focusing solely on wiping out those sprouts. In the final phase, I crushed the main Sorrow before turning all my firepower on Nazuku. She unleashes some heavy melee combos, forcing me to patiently dodge and constantly swap between Red and Antea to manage cooldowns. Landing that final banish was a massive relief.
Your pity means nothing to me, mortal. You are nothing.
How convenient then that I don't need you to give myself closure.
Antea, Antea. Such a clever girl. So good with words of power. Is that how you seduced your little pet here?
My name is Nazuku, and I am the relentless servant of the Queen of Kur.
The hell?
Come, stay a while, stay forever.
Next, in the midst of the relentless combat sessions within the endgame, I set my sights on the Bookworm trophy. To earn this, you must find all 32 collectibles scattered throughout New Eden. Unlike the cursed or locked chests, these items don't require any special keys or rituals to unlock. They are simply lore documents that flesh out the tragic backstory of the region and its doomed inhabitants. Tracking them down was purely a matter of thorough exploration. I made it a habit to scour every abandoned cabin and dimly lit cave, keeping an eye out for that subtle glow. Checking my progress in the dedicated inventory tab was a huge help to ensure I hadn't missed any. Finding that final document really deepened my appreciation for the dark world the developers built. Bringing the journey to its climax, the Curse is Lifted trophy unlocks after defeating the final boss, the Nightmare. This grueling 2-part battle tests everything you've learned. In the first phase, you must deplete her 3 health bars, performing a banishment after each. The trickiest part is when she spawns clones. I had to rely on lock-on targeting to ensure I was hitting the real boss. Just when you think it's over, she transforms into Retribution. This phase is much faster, with devastating area of effect attacks that forced me to constantly dodge backward. Patiently learning her new telegraphed moves and surviving to land that final banishment was an incredibly epic conclusion to the story.
If they live, they win. All of them. Enough pain now. There must be a reckoning.
The pain may end right now. The reckoning is here.
Spare me your compassion, for it comes far too late.
Who are you?
I am Retribution.
A word, an idea. But who are you?
I am her fury.
No longer.
I am their nightmare!
You were.
You believe you've won? It will not be so easy. For I will end your dreams.
Approaching the story's emotional branching point, the Farewell My Love trophy represents the first major conclusion. To earn it, you must keep your promise to peacefully release Antea by consistently choosing to spare the living and ascend, or banish the dead throughout your haunting cases. Staying true to that path required making some heavy, merciful decisions, even when vengeance felt justified. Watching the cutscene play out and seeing Antea finally find her peace was deeply moving, but for a trophy hunter, earning this first bittersweet ending just meant it was time to rewind the clock and walk a much darker path to finish the platinum journey.
Hey, I'm right here.
Aye, you are.
The time has come, and I must go.
That was the promise I made.
We've done good work here. We've made my death count for something.
Someday, we'll meet again.
Take all the time in the world. I love you, Rory McGrath.
These years I've spent by your side have made me a better man. You've taught me to survive. You've taught me to live. Thank you. From my heart of hearts, thank you. Farewell, my love.
Death for the dead.
Life for the living.
To finally see the other side of the coin, I had to strap in for a second playthrough, replaying the entire main story and the vast majority of the haunting cases. The Death is a Journey trophy unlocks the Resurrection ending, which demands a fundamentally darker approach to the game's morality system. To bring Antea back to life, you must consistently break your oath as a Banisher. Instead of seeking peace, I had to become a ruthless executioner, actively choosing to sacrifice or blame the living, breathing inhabitants of New Eden purely to harvest their life essence. Walking this path completely changed the tone of the entire experience. Characters I had previously saved and empathized with during my first run were now just stepping stones for my own selfish goal. Defeating the nightmare for the second time and finally resurrecting Antea after leaving such a massive trail of bloodshed felt incredibly heavy and morally complex. It was a grim, haunting contrast to the Ascension path.
And the things he'd done to bring her back had changed Red too. Some say you should fight for what you want.
But honestly, the dark reality of that final cutscene was immediately washed away by the glorious, unmistakable ding of the Platinum Trophy finally popping on my screen. Staring at that final notification, I realized the sheer amount of time, patience, and emotional weight that went into mastering both sides of this story. Securing that ultimate reward meant my grueling, twofold journey through New Eden was officially and triumphantly complete.
Bread.
It won. You're back.
Thanks to you.
Is lifting.
And that finally closes the book on Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden. This game was a massive undertaking, demanding not just a mastery of its combat and exploration, but a real willingness to engage with its heavy moral compass, twice over. Going from a righteous savior to a ruthless executioner across two completely different playthroughs was an exhausting but unforgettable experience. The world of New Eden is bleak, the choices are rarely easy, and the grind to max out every stat and find every hidden chest truly tested my patience. But looking back at the complete 100% completion sitting on my profile, the journey was absolutely worth it. It's a platinum that you really have to earn, both in skill and in spirit. Next up, we are taking a massive leap through time and completely changing the pace. We're trading the haunted, untamed wilderness of 17th century North America for the fog-drenched, cobblestone streets of Victorian London. We are diving into a true PlayStation classic, The Order 1886. Unlike the sprawling, massive grind we just finished, this game is a heavily cinematic, strictly linear experience. It's a world where steampunk technology meets ancient supernatural threats, and where you play as a knight armed to the teeth with some of the coolest alternate history weaponry in gaming. Full disclosure, I had 6 trophies already sitting on my profile from a while back, but going back to finish off the full platinum is much more of a visual feast than a grueling marathon. It's a short, straightforward list that lets you sit back, soak in the incredible atmosphere, and blast some lichens back to the Stone Age. So grab your thermite rifles because we're officially joining the Order to finish what I started. Kicking things off in Victorian London, we have the Discombobulated trophy. This one asks you to stun an enemy 30 times using the secondary fire of the M2 Falchion auto rifle. You get your hands on this weapon right from Chapter 1, and its alternate fire shoots off a concussive blast that knocks enemies off balance instead of just gunning them down. The funny thing about this trophy is the wording. While you can absolutely earn this naturally by stunning 30 different enemies over the course of the campaign, you can also just corner a single enemy and repeatedly hit them with the stun blast 30 times in a row. I decided to take the easy route, just spamming the concussive blast on one poor, highly confused rebel until the trophy popped on my screen. It's an incredibly simple one to knock out early on and a great way to get familiar with the game's alternate fire mechanics. Next up is the From the Hip trophy, which requires racking up 25 kills without aiming down your sights. You can achieve this by simply walking and shooting from the hip or by blind firing from behind cover. Since the Order is so heavily cover-based, blind firing proves surprisingly effective, especially when enemies tried to rush my position. Instead of risking a headshot by popping out, I just stick my weapon over a barricade and spray lead. It's a trophy that will likely pop naturally during the chaos of a normal playthrough, and hitting that 25th blind kill was a great excuse to just let loose. Now for a more hands-on approach, the next one I knocked out was the Box Your Ears trophy. This simply asks you to take down 15 enemies using melee attacks. Whenever you manage to sprint close enough to an unaware or pinned down rebel, hitting the prompt triggers a brutal, highly cinematic takedown by Galahad. Because the Order relies so heavily on those visceral, motion-captured animations, every punch and grapple feels incredibly impactful. Ammo can also occasionally get scarce during the more drawn-out firefights, so I just focused to rush most enemies in an area in order to finish them off by hand to conserve bullets. It's an incredibly straightforward requirement, and securing that 15th melee kill popped another easy one on our quick road to the platinum. Stepping back into the line of fire, we have the Between the Eyes trophy. The requirement here is a staple for any shooter. Rack up 100 headshot kills. In a typical game, this would probably pop naturally without a second thought, but since the Order is a relatively short, tightly paced cinematic experience, hitting that 100 kill mark actually requires a bit of dedicated effort. In fact, I completely rolled the credits on the story without this one unlocking. To close the gap, I had to boot up Chapter Select and drop myself right into the middle of a heavy firefight. From there, it was a simple matter of popping a few rebel heads from behind cover, restarting the checkpoint, and repeating the process. It only took a few quick cycles of farming before that satisfying 100th headshot finally triggered the trophy. Staying on the topic of headshots, the next objective to cross off was the Marksman trophy. This one requires you to land 5 headshot kills while utilizing Black Sight. If you aren't familiar, Black Sight is essentially Galahad's cinematic bullet time ability, a quick-fire mode that snaps your aim to targets in slow motion. The slight trick to this trophy is how the auto-targeting actually works. When you trigger Black Sight, the reticle naturally locks onto center mass. To secure a headshot, you have to keep shooting the same enemy a couple of times, which forces the auto-aim to gradually climb up to their head. Since you only need 5 of these specific kills, it's incredibly easy to knock out. I just activated the ability, dumped a few rounds into a target until the headshot registered, and abused the checkpoint restart a few times to wrap it up in just a couple of minutes. Sticking with our slow motion abilities, we have the Undivided Attention trophy, which goes hand in hand with the previous one. Instead of focusing on precision, this one is all about volume. You simply need to kill 25 enemies while in black sight mode. Whenever a firefight got a little too overwhelming, triggering this quick fire state was the perfect get out of jail free card. Once activated, you just flick the analog stick to snap between targets and drop them before they can even pull the trigger. Because black sight is so useful during massive ambushes, racking up 25 kills usually happens naturally over the course of the story, but just in case you fall short by the time the credits roll, hopping back in via chapter select makes it incredibly easy to mop up the final few bodies. Next on the hit list is the Up in Flames trophy, which highlights one of the coolest weapons in the game, the M86 thermite rifle. To earn this, you simply need to incinerate 15 enemies. You first get your hands on this unique piece of steampunk hardware in Chapter 3. It works by launching a cloud of flammable thermite dust with your secondary fire, which you then ignite by shooting a flare into it with your primary fire. The result is a deadly rain of fire on anyone caught inside the cloud. Hitting the 15 kill mark flies by because it's just so fun to use. If you happen to run low on incendiary rounds before the trophy unlocks, you can easily farm the rest by roasting a group of enemies and restarting the checkpoint until it pops. Every good shooter needs its explosive red barrels, and the Order 1886 is no exception. For the highly volatile trophy, you simply need to keep an eye out for these powder kegs and detonate 10 of them throughout your playthrough. If you want to get this out of the way quickly, there's a perfect farming spot in Chapter 3 during the Puppet Queen section. You'll enter an area absolutely loaded with these kegs. Just blow them up, restart the checkpoint, and repeat until you hit the quota. As an added bonus, this is also the exact same spot where you can easily knock out the collateral damage trophy for killing 3 enemies with a single explosion. If you just read the description for the Brilliant trophy, it sounds like a frustrating challenge. You need to shoot an airborne grenade while in black sight. Relying on an enemy to perfectly lob an explosive so you can shoot it out of the sky sounds like a nightmare in timing. Thankfully, there's a massive shortcut. You don't have to wait for the enemy to do anything. You can just shoot your own grenade. All you have to do is equip one, look straight up at the sky, throw it, and immediately trigger black sight. The auto aim will snap right to the explosive, allowing you to blast it out of the air yourself. It turns a potentially annoying trick shot into a guaranteed easy trophy. Next on the checklist is the Well-Rounded trophy, which tasks you with getting at least 1 kill with every single weapon the game has to offer. Most of the arsenal is practically handed to you through story progression, while a few specific firearms require you to actively pick them up off fallen enemies. As long as you make a habit of experimenting with whatever you find, you'll naturally check off the vast majority of the list. Funnily enough, when it came down to tracking my own progress, it turned out I wasn't missing a kill with some rare experimental steampunk rifle. The only thing keeping me from the trophy was a simple, standard issue fragmentation grenade. One quick toss into a group of unsuspecting rebels later, the explosion went off and the requirement was officially fulfilled. Transitioning into the collectible side of things, we have the Power of Observation trophy. This one tasks you with finding and inspecting all the miscellaneous objects scattered throughout the game. Unlike the standard newspapers, documents, or phonograph cylinders, these are 14 unique, tangible items you can physically pick up and rotate to examine the incredible level of detail the developers put into the world. Since the environments in the Order are so densely packed and cinematic, it's very easy to walk right past some of these items if you aren't thoroughly checking every dimly lit corner. While there are only 14 of these specific objects to find, tracking them down goes hand in hand with gathering the rest of the game's lore. If you're going for a clean sweep, your best bet is to follow a comprehensive collectible guide for the overarching Inspector First Class trophy to ensure you don't miss a single pipe, compass, or trinket along the way. Continuing our sweep of Victorian London's hidden lore, the Archivist trophy is up next. For this one, you need to track down all 16 phonograph cylinders scattered throughout the chapters. If you've played almost any story-driven shooter in the last decade, you know exactly what these are. They're basically the 1886 equivalent of audio diaries. The huge saving grace with the phonograph cylinders is that unlike the random objects and documents, the game actually tracks your progress with them. You can pause at any time, jump into the Archive tab in the menu, and see exactly which ones you found or listen back to the recordings. Not only did this make monitoring my collectible run significantly less stressful, but taking a moment in the shadows to listen to the excellent voice acting really helped flesh out the dark, cinematic atmosphere of the game. Still on the collectible trail, the next one to knock out is the Well-Read trophy. This one requires you to find and carefully inspect all 10 newspapers scattered across the game's various chapters. Much like the miscellaneous objects, picking up these broadsheets gives you a fantastic look at the studio's incredible texture work and world building. Reading the headlines offers fun little glimpses into the daily happenings and political tensions of this alternate history London. Since there are only 10 of them to track down, it's one of the quicker collectible sets to complete. As long as you make a habit of checking every desk, table, and countertop between the game's intense shootouts, you'll have this one wrapped up in no time. As we near the end of our Victorian checklist, we have the Detail-Oriented trophy. This one requires you to find and carefully inspect all 11 photographs and 16 documents hidden throughout the campaign. Bringing the total to 27 items, this is where you really have to start paying attention to your surroundings. Directly piggybacking off the last few trophies, we arrive at the ultimate scavenger hunt milestone, the Inspector First Class Gold Trophy. You earn this massive reward by finding literally every single inspectable item in the entire game. That means all the miscellaneous objects, all the phonograph cylinders, the newspapers, the photographs, and the documents. If you've been following a comprehensive video guide from the start, this will naturally pop the exact moment you pick up your final collectible. However, if you're like me and reached the end of the game missing a few scattered items, Chapter Select is your absolute best friend. You don't have to replay the entire story to clean up your mess, but there is one massive, crucial rule you have to follow if you jump around via Chapter Select. After picking up a missed item, do not immediately quit to the main menu. You have to keep playing until you reach the next area or trigger a cutscene, forcing the game to display the save data indicator in the top right corner of your screen. If you back out before that icon appears, your progress vanishes and you'll have to grab the collectible all over again. Once I finally secured my last missing item and forced that autosave, the glorious gold trophy finally appeared. Hearing that final, unmistakable platinum ding for the Order 1886 felt incredibly satisfying. Going into this, I already had a handful of trophies sitting on my profile from years ago, so finally returning to close the loop and secure the 100% completion felt like laying an old ghost to rest. Compared to the massive, grueling RPG grinds out there, this platinum journey was a breath of fresh air. It's a short, highly polished, and visually stunning cinematic experience that doesn't overstay its welcome. It was the perfect palate cleanser, letting me sit back, enjoy a gorgeous alternate history, and easily add another platinum to the collection. Now, it's time to figure out what we're going to play next.
Rebellion. As long as its campaign of anarchy and terror is allowed to continue. The plague of lichen infestation that has infected our city will only grow more intolerable.
The Lord Chancellor will thus agree to the urgency of a mission into Whitechapel.
Whitechapel is a matter for the civil authorities.
When the noble Arthur sought to contest for truage with the Roman Emperor Lucius, he did not trouble himself with issues of jurisdiction.
Do not presume to quote history to me, Sir Percival. I've seen more of history than you shall ever know. I remind the knights here assembled that the threat to this order comes not only from without, but within.
And that officially draws a line under this episode. Going from a massive, emotionally demanding experience like Banishers Ghosts of New Eden to a short, strictly linear, and absolutely stunning cinematic ride like the Order 1886 was an incredible contrast. It was the exact breath of fresh air I needed after dozens of hours of heavy moral choices. Returning to clean up those final trophies I had left sitting on my profile from years ago reminded me exactly why I love hunting platinum trophies. It's not always about endless grinding, overly complex guides, or brutal difficulty. Sometimes it's just about soaking in a well-directed story, appreciating the sheer detail of a beautifully crafted world, and hearing that glorious final ding. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching and for sticking with me through this double feature journey. What are your thoughts on the Order 1886, especially looking back at it today? Do you think it deserved a sequel to expand on this incredible alternate history steampunk lore? Or are you glad it remained a unique, one-off experience? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take on it. If this video helped you out, or you just enjoyed following my progress toward these 2 platinums, hitting that like button would mean the world to me. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the upcoming trophy guides. I already have some great ideas lined up for the next games we're going to dissect here on the channel, so definitely stay tuned. Until next time, happy gaming, good luck with your own trophy hunts, and I'll see you all in the next video.
I love you, Red McCraith.
But